Namaste. Howdy, everybody. I'm home. Good. So good to be here again. This weekend we'll be at Omega, which I think is sold out, but there's still online availability. And yeah. So let's go. Pavanakuma Kalabana Pava Kagyanagan Jasuhradagha Vasiram Sarachabha Atulita Baladhama Himshala Badeham Dhanujavan Krishna Jnani Nama Graganyam Sakala Guna Nidhana Vanaranam Adhishan Raghupati Priya Bhaktam Vatajatam Namam Goshpadi Kritavarisham Mashiki Kritarakshasam Ramayana Hamalaratna Andenilatmajam Anjananandaram Viram Janaki Shokanashanam Kapisamakshanta Andelanka Vankaram Langasindho Salilam, Salilam, Yashokavahi, Janakatmaja, Adatane, Dadalanka, Amamitam, Pranjali Ranjanayam, Manojavam, Marutatulya Vegam Jitendriyam Budhimatam Varishtam Atatmajam Vanarutamukyam Shri Ramadutam Sharanam Prapadhe Shri Ramadutam Sharanam Prapadhe Shri Ramadutam Sharanam Prapadhe Shri Ramadutam Sharanam Prapadhe Anjaneyam Tipatalan Kanchanadri Kamaniya Vigraham Parijat Taramula Vasanam Havayami Pavamananandanam Yatra Yatra Raghunatha Kirtanam Tatra Tatra Kritamustakanjalim Vashpavari Paripurna Lochana Martinamat Rakshasantakam Bala Bajranga Bali Hanuman Ki Jai. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. 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 Jai Ram Krishna Hare, Jai Jai Ram Krishna Hare. Jai Jai Ram Krishna Hare, Jai Jai Ram Krishna Hare. Jai Jai Ram Krishna Hare, Jai Jai Ram Krishna Hare. Jai Jai Ram Krishna, Jai Jai Ram Krishna Hare. Jai Jai Ram Krishna, Jai Jai Ram Krishna Hare. Jai Jai Ram Krishna Hare, Jai Jai Ram Krishna Hare. Jai Jai Ram Krishna Hare, Jai Jai Ram Krishna Hare. Jai Jai Ram Krishna Hare, Jai Jai Ram Krishna Hare. Jai Jai Ram Krishna Hare, Jai Jai Ram Krishna Hare. Jai Jai Ram Krishna Hare, Jai Jai Ram Krishna Hare. Jai Jai Ram Krishna Hare, Jai Jai Ram Krishna Hare. Sitaram, 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 Jai Sitaram. 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 Sitaram, 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 Jai Sitaram. Taram, 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 Sitaram, yeah. Sitaram, 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 yeah, Sitaram. Sitaram, 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 Jai 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 Sitaram, 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 Jai Sitaram. Sitaram, 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 Jai Sitaram. Back in 1995 at Kenchi, I always talk about how I used to sing with this one group of kirtanwalas, But there was another group too that I liked very much. It was basically this one guy, and his drummer was terrible. He was always yelling at the guy, and the guy was always freaking out, running away. This guy was unusual. He was more of a sadhu than a kirtanwala. Not that they're not sadhus, but he was kind of unusual. And he had been given this melody by his guru, and this was the only melody he sung. He didn't sing any other melodies, and that's the melody I'm going to sing with you now. And he would start very slow. He was in no hurry, very slow. And it was very beautiful. So, listen. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, oh, well, I guess I blew the audition, but I'll never get the job. I went into a completely different Hare Krishna somewhere in the middle from what I started with. And then I didn't know where to go. And then my hands just kept finding the wrong place. And every once in a while they found the right place. What to do? Ram Ram, it's all the name, it's all good. Guru So like I said, this weekend we'll be at Omega. And then for this the chant weekend. And then on the Monday, Nina and I are doing an afternoon together, heart practice of chanting. That'll be streaming also online, so you can join. Then a couple of weeks later, we'll be in Joshua Tree at Bhakti Fest. The next weekend, Kripalu. Then 2 weeks later, back in the high life again, back in New York City for our weekend urban retreat, kirtans, workshops, chanting. So that'll be fun. Then later in the year, I'll be in Australia and Bali. Very short tour in Australia, only 3 cities, because not a lot of time. Then I'll be leading a retreat in Bali at Soulshine, which is Michael Franti's and his wife. That's their place, their center in Ubud. So hopefully you all fly over there and join me. That's November 11th to 18th. So, okay, questions. When you surrender, are you surrendering to Maharaji's grace, knowing he is still supporting you? And or does it make it easier for you to surrender knowing Maharaji is with you? Of course. I mean, there's many different ways of thinking about surrender and many different ways to give up our egocentric versions of reality. The path of devotion and surrender to a great saint, a great being, or God, whatever that means to the individual. It seems like it's easy, but it's not easy. Because as Ramana Maharshi said, when you surrender, you no longer have anything to say about what happens in your life. You have to accept everything as it comes. Because if you surrender, if that actually happens, when that happens, and first of all, the ego will never surrender. Never in a billion years. The sense of separate self isn't something that wants to let go of the attachments we have, the desires, the fantasies, the agendas, all the stuff that we have going on. We're identified with that, and that's not going to go away by itself. As Ramana Maharshi says again, if you ask the mind or the heart the mind or the ego to give up, it's like asking the thief to be the policeman. There'll be a lot of investigation, but no arrest will ever be made. Because the ego, whatever that is, if it's actually something or just a bunch of thoughts orbiting around this delusionary sense of a separate self, which we all have and believe in, whether we say we do or not, we do, because we think we are who we think we are. So surrender happens, you could say, by grace. And by continually, and as far as the path to surrender goes, by continually releasing our version of what we like to think is going on. Giving up holding on to what we like, giving up pushing away what we don't like. It's very difficult, but it's part of the purification process that allows our hearts to ripen and be surrendered into the thought-free or the ego-free state, that kind of thing. So Of course, because I feel Maharaji is with me and guiding me and pulling all the puppet strings, it gives me some sense of sometimes being able to let go. But most of the time, I think I'm me. I think I'm doing it all. Even if I pretend to myself that I don't, those thoughts still arise, and I still get caught thinking them, that I am thinking them. So remember, thoughts are not going to stop. Even when you reach a very deep state of consciousness, the thoughts may still come, but we may not get identified with them or attached to them or glued to them as they pass through consciousness, the sky of awareness. So it's not a question of trying to crush your thoughts and not think. That's not going to happen. It's a practice of letting go when you know when you recognize that you've been lost in thought, lost in dreamland, lost in fantasy, lost in imagination, lost in remembering, lost in pretending, lost in all that stuff. The minute you recognize that you've been gone, you're already back. That moment is, you can't hold on to that moment. You can remember to try to really recognize it intensely without holding on to it, because it's going to go away immediately. You wake up, boom, and then that's why when we wake up, when we're chanting, when we realize that we've been gone, we immediately come back to the sound of the name. And as time goes on, that sound, because it's the sound form of our own true nature, of true being, of God. It's the sound form of that. And so to keep on coming back to that sound brings us more deeply. It's almost like an echo of that wake-up instant. And you stay with the echo as much as you can, without grabbing onto it and trying to crush it. So yeah, it's all mixed up. You know, Ramana Maharshi said also that what a devotee feels on the way to liberation or oneness is the same thing as a jnani, someone who finds out the nature of the self through inquiry. That's the same thing that the jnani experiences after. So very extraordinary situation. There's only one thing going on here. This is, all of our karmas are ripening, all of our karmas are increasing or decreasing. We're all doing the best we can. So this person writes, he had a very deep experience recently at the retreat in Boone, I guess it was. But when he's home, he says that he's having a very hard time functioning. I got so lost and drawn into the bliss, I don't know what to do. I want to serve my family as myself, but I also see how the external is just the internal manifest. I see how real and unreal it is at the same time, depending on how much reality I inject into it. You need more love, more kindness, more compassion. These experiences, as nice as they are, and as wonderful and blissful as they can be, they don't last. It's very nice, but it will pass. And if you try to hold on to it, you will suffer. And but at the same time, you need to honor what you're going through. If you say you're getting lost in bliss, I don't know what lost means, but if you're getting immersed in like an ocean of bliss with no sense of me, well, that's very nice. But if it's something you're enjoying, then you're still identified with being the enjoyer of that bliss. So certainly that's not freedom, but it's very nice. So enjoy. You want to serve your family as yourself, you're thinking too much. Take care of business. Be nice to your kids. Be nice to your family. If you need time alone, explain to them you're going through something and take some time alone. But if you have responsibilities, that's also your karmas and you have to fulfill those. Otherwise you're causing suffering and creating more suffering for yourself. So don't hold on to it. It's nice, it's good. And nobody, I wouldn't mind getting some of that bliss myself, but what to do? If you can send some over, that would be great, but otherwise don't worry about it. And you say, I suppose Ram Dass would say, just keep all the planes going at once, but that's a bunch of bullshit. Nobody knows what Ram Dass would say to you at this moment. Those kind of things he used to say in the old days. As he ripened, he said, love everyone and identify with the love within you. And that's a good idea. Good luck. What does it mean you've run out of questions? It means when I'm looking at the iPad with the questions that have been emailed into me that there's no more. That's what it means. I haven't run out of questions in my mind. I still like to know what the fuck this world is all about. It said, Krishna Das sings out of key and it's still the most holy thing I've heard in my entire life. Yeah, but did you see me mess up the Hare Krishna? I couldn't even find the right chords to play. That was fun. Sometimes, I just lose it. But I try to keep it together. Would Maharaji sign autographs? Yes, he would. He wrote Ram Ram in many of our books. If we had a holy book like the Gita or the Ramayana, he would write Ram Ram in it many times. He wrote Ram Ram in my Devi Puja book, my Durga Saptasati. Where is that? Somewhere. He would write Ram Ram Ram. What was it like to be in front of him? I feel when you're in front of deities, you get some kind of more energy like aura. Can you elaborate more on this? Not being in front and being physically in front of you. Yeah, because we identify with our bodies. Because we see other bodies. We think Guru, God, Saint is the body, just like we think we're the body. They don't think that. They are not at all identified with their bodies. It's like, when you're driving to the supermarket in your car, do you think you're your car? No, you are a being inside of a car. It's kind of like that. They are beings inside a body for the sake of helping us. They have no karmas to work out anymore. That's why they're saints. That's why they're gurus, real enlightened beings. Have no karmas that limit them. So, in some ways, Maharaji is always present. I don't remember to look. I don't remember to see. And so I get lost in my stuff. I get lost and upset with the insurance company who's not paying for this, and I get upset with this, the car is not working, you know. That's my karmas, that's my idiocy. But I get over it and come back again and again. So somebody's asking about the role of Hanuman as a protector. What the Hanuman Chalisa is a very powerful mantra. Every line of it is Mahamantra, Maharaji said. He said it can change karmas, or at least change the way karmas unfold, you could say. And it's good for everything. You say you're working with fear, so I would just say, learn the Hanuman Chalisa and repeat it every day. Read it every day, at least once, if not 7 times or 11 times. And it will work on you from the inside. The vibration, the sound, even if it's mentally, even if you're reading it mentally, there's still inner sound, silent sound going on. It doesn't have to be out loud. You know, Hanumanji comes from the story of Ram, where Shiva manifested as Hanuman in order to serve his beloved Ram, and to help him in the war. And Hanumanji was had no limits. He could do anything. And in the jungle, the sadhus do chant to Hanuman. They do chant Bajrang Ban, Hanuman Chalisa. So that's a good thing to do. You don't think of it as you're pushing a button to get rid of your fear. Think of it as entering into the presence of this being that whose very nature is fearlessness and love and kindness and remover of obstacles and all kinds of impurities in the heart. So one enters into that presence, put up a picture of Maharaji and a picture of Hanuman, make a little offering of some fruit, and do the Chalisa. And think that you are connecting with Maharaji and Hanuman, and you will. Someone said, I and others have said Maharaji repeated Ram constantly. How did that work? Did he do it while having a conversation, while sleeping, while singing silently out loud? Yeah. There is a point where the mantra, the name, there is a place within us, so to speak, that the name is always going on, because the name is the name of our own true being, which is in here. All the names are the names of our own true being, which is in here. So through the repetition of the name, gradually but inevitably, we move more deeply into ourselves. Eventually we get to this, we become, our awareness becomes aware of this place where the name is always going on. However, I believe I would say that in Maharaji's case, and in the case of the really great saints, they're so far beyond that the name keeps them in form and keeps them here for us. And they're fully surrendered. There's no agenda of their own. There's no ego. There's no identification with anything, with a separate self. So all there is Ram, 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 the presence. And at that point, in that state, the name and what is named is not different. And they say we can reach that state through the repetition of the name. And that's something, it's a practice to do. You can do it whenever you remember it. Take it as a blessing that it just came to you, and spin the wheel a few times until you forget. And then you're busy doing other things and it comes back. The name itself will pull us within, because ultimately everything merges in that. Ultimately, this life or a billion lives from now, sooner or later, everything will merge in that oneness. But you can't make that happen. All you can do is remember the name. That's it. You don't have to make anything happen. You don't have to hold on to it. You don't have to squeeze it. You just remember. And then you forget. And then you remember. Then you forget. Then you remember. As time goes on, our sincerity will grow. Like Maharaj used to say, go on, sing your lying false Ram Ram. One of these days you'll really call out, and the real Ram will come. We're working on getting to the place when we can really call out, fully, sincerely, totally, openly, really. At that point, we're not concerned with anything. We've given up attachment to all our stuff, and all we want is to be in that love fully. That's when we could really call out. Vaishnavi Devi is the Shakti of Vishnu, and there are different forms of Vaishnavi Devi. One form is Vindhyavasini Durga Devi, the form of Vaishnavi Devi that lives in the Vindhya hills. There's an ancient temple there. And that is the form of the goddess that Maharaji had a temple built to honor her in the courtyard of the Kenchi. I don't know what he spoke about. We, as the Westerners, we didn't hear a lot of things that he might have talked about in Hindi or Pahari to the people who were there, but we did hear some things. But there's one very beautiful story. Maharaji and Siddhima, Jivantima, they were all in Allahabad at Dada's house. Allahabad is not so far from Vindhyachal, which is the mountain that sacred temple of Vindhyavasini Durga Devi is. And so they got into a car to drive up and do puja at the temple. But they got a late start. And about halfway up the hill, Maharaji realized they weren't going to make it in time. So he told the driver to pull over. And he got out of the car and he opened the rear door where Siddhima was sitting. And he took all the stuff that was going to be used for the puja, the lights, the arti lamp, all that stuff. And he sat on the ground outside the car and worshipped Siddhima as Vindhyavasini Durga Devi. And then they got back in the car and went home. So it was years later that the temple was built in Kenchi. But obviously, the connection between Ma and Vaishnavi Devi, Vindhyavasini Devi, is very deep. And very deep. How do you navigate the fear of being kicked out of someone's heart for being yourself? Why should you be afraid? If somebody doesn't like you, what can you do? If you're doing what you want to do, what does it matter if people don't like you? If you're concerned about people liking you, then you can't really be doing what you want to do. Then you're always trying to please people, which you can never do for long. If I was worried about what people thought about me, I would have never started singing, but I had to sing to save myself. So let them say what they want. And people did say a lot of things, and probably still do. What am I supposed to do? I can't please everybody. Please talk about dealing with residual feelings of anger towards others' behavior that may not easily shift or be fully released through chanting or other practices. How to be really free from the residue of anger that sometimes lingers for a long time. Well, it's good to be aware of that. It's good that one has awareness that that stuff is still hanging around. And there's many ways to deal with these things. Sometimes chanting, you could say that chanting might not be enough to free you from all that residue that's hanging around in your mind and your heart and your emotions. On the other hand, chanting is not a button you push to get over these things. It's a practice that we do to plant the seeds of love, kindness, compassion, and caring in our own hearts, and to feel who we truly are. And so the more practice you do, you may notice that there's still residual stuff going on. And then you think, well, if I'm doing all this practice and I still have residual stuff, how hard must it be for those other people that I'm angry at to get over their stuff? And I'm angry at them for stuff they did to me, quote unquote, but obviously they couldn't help themselves. And they're creating suffering for themselves by their actions. So you start to develop a little compassion, kindness, and caring about and understanding how hard it is to get free of this stuff. And that also helps you get free of this stuff. When you kind of naturally forgive, because you say, wow, like I've told this story a million times, but way back when George W. was president, I was watching CNN and they happened to show a live feed of the president coming to Florida to visit with the first group of widows from the Iraq War. The war that he bought into for all those reasons that he had, and created all that suffering for so many people that were killed and murdered and maimed in that war. Anyhow, he comes down to Florida, and the cameras follow him walking down the hall of this school to this room where these women, these widows, were waiting. And he's waving to the cameras, hey, I'm the president. Hey, Joe, how you doing? I'm Mr. President. Hey, hey. And the cameras followed him into the room. And he took one look at these women, and he burst out crying like a baby, weeping. He totally lost it. It really pissed me off, because I wanted to hate this motherfucker. And now I couldn't hate him anymore. Look at this guy. All the suffering he's caused, all the seeds of suffering he's planted in his own heart, in his own life stream, his own karmas. And he didn't have a clue. He has no vote. He could not help but do that, and that did not make me happy. So it's kind of like that. People, what do people mean when they refer to the path? How do I get onto it, and what do I do once I'm there? And where is it supposed to lead? That's a good question. Well, they're talking about what's done, the spiritual path, which is the road home to your own true self, to the divine beingness that we are within us, underneath our thoughts, our emotions, all our ideas about ourselves and the programs that we believe about ourselves, all the stories we believe about ourselves. Underneath all that, there's something very beautiful, and that's our soul, which is a part of God. So the path goes from here to here, but it takes a while to get there for most of us. So, and if you're asking the question, you probably could say you're already on the path. Now I'm out of questions for tonight. No, Maharaji never said anything about Dattatreya, as far as I know. Datta was mostly in South India, as far as I know, in terms of Datta temples and manifestations of Dattatreya was a divine enlightened being. They say that Shirdi Sai Baba was a manifestation of Dattatreya. And Akalkat Maharaj, another great saint in the south, was a manifestation of Dattatreya. Okay. Jaya Jagadambe Sita Radhe Jaya Jagadambe Sita Radhe Kali Durge Namo Namo Kali Durge Namo Namo Jaya Jagadambe Sita Radhe Jaya Jagadambe Sita Radhe Kali Sita Radhe Jai Jagadambe Sita Radhe Kauri Durge Namo Namo Ma Kauri Durge Namo Namo Palana Karani Bhava Bhaya Harani Palana Karani Bhava Bhaya Harani Ali Durge Namo Namo Ma Kali Durge Namo Namo Kali Durge Namo Namo Ma Kali Durge Namo Namo Kala Binashani Kali Jaya Jaya Kala Binashani Kali Jaya Jaya Durgati Nashani Durga Jaya Jaya Durgati Nashani Durga Jaya Jaya Umarama Brahmani Jaya Jaya Umarama Brahmani Jaya Jaya Radhe Sita Rukmani Jaya Jaya Radhe Sita Rukmani Jaya Jaya Kala Binashani Kali Jaya Jaya Kala Binashani Kali Jaya Jaya Durgati Nashani Durga Jaya Jaya Durgati Nashani Durga Jaya Jaya Umarama Brahmani Jaya Jaya Umarama Brahmani Jaya Jaya Radhe Sita Rukmani Jaya Jaya Radhe Kala Binashani Kali Jaya Jaya Kala Binashani Kali Jaya Jaya Durgati Nashani Durga Jaya Jaya Durgati Nashani Durga Jaya Jaya Umarama Brahmani Jaya Jaya Umarama Brahmani Jaya Jaya Radhe Sita Rukmani Jaya Jaya Radhe Sita Jaya Durgati Nashini Durga Jaya Jaya Umarama Brahmani Jaya Jaya Umarama Brahmani Jaya Jaya Radhe Sita Rukmani 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 Jaya Jaya Kala Vinashani Kali Jaya Jaya Kala Vinashani Kali Jaya Jaya Durgati Nashani Durga Jaya Jaya Durgati Nashani Durga Jaya Jaya Shri Guru Charan Saroj Raj Achamara Mukar Sudhari Varano Raghubara Bimala Jasu Jodaya Kupalachari Buddhihin Tanu Janike Sumiram Pavan Kumar Siyana Balabuddhi Vidya Dehu Mohi Haru Kale Sabikar Syavara Ramachandra Padaje Sharanam Jai Hanuman Gyan Guna Saga Jai Kapi Sati Loka Ujaga Ramadurta Tulita Baladham Anjani Putta Pavana Sutanam Mahavira Bikram Jarangi Kumatanivar Sumati Kesan Kanchana Varana Biraj Subesa Kanana Kundala Kunchita Kesa Hat Bajra Urdvaja Biraja Kande Munja Jane Usaje Shankara Suvan Kesari Nanda Teja Pratapa Mahajagabanda Vidyavanu Guni Ati Chaturama Kaja Karibeko Atu Prabhu Charita Sunibeko Rasya Rama Lakana Sita Manabasya Sukshma Rup Karasya Hindakav Vikata Rupa Dhare Lanka Jarava Bhima Rupa Dhare Asura Sahare Ramachandra Ke Kaja Samvari Vaya Sajivana Lakana Jiyaya Raghuveer Rashi Udalai Raghupati Kini Bhutabarai Tuma Mama Priya Bharatai Samabhai Sasavadan Tuma Roja Sagavan Asaka Shripati Kanta Lagava Sanakadika Brahmadi Munisa Arad Sharad Saita Ahisa Yamakube Digapal Jahante Kabiko Bidkai Sake Kahante Tumapakar Sugriva Inkina Rama Melaya Rajapadadi Maram Mantra Bibhishanamana Lankeshwara Bhai Sabha Jagajan Yuga Sahasra Jojan Paraban Vilyotai Madura Palajan Abu Mudrika Elimukha Mahi Jaladilangi Gaya Acharajanahi Durgama Kaja Jagat Ke Jete Sukama Anugraha Tumarete Rama Duare Tumara Kovare Hotana Agya Binu Pezare Sab Sukla He Tumhari Sharana Tumara Chaka Kau Kodaran Apan Teja Samaro Ape Tinon Loka Hanka Tinkampe Utpasashan Katana Heave Mahavira Jabanam Sunave Nasero Gahare Sabapira Japata Nirantara Hanumat Bir Sankatate Hanuman Churave Manakrama Bachana Dhyana Jolave Papararama Tapasviraja Tinake Kaja Sakala Tumasaja Or Manorat Joko Elave Sove Amita Jivan Palapave Ano Yuga Paratap Tumara Hai Parasid Jagat Ujiyara Sadhu Santa Ke Marakovari Asurane Kandana Rama Dulari Ashta Siddhino Hidike Data Savardina Janaki Mata Ramarasayana Tumare Pas Sadaro Raghupati Ke Dasa Tumare Bhajana Rama Ko Pave Janam Janam Ke Dukha Bisarave Antakala Raghuvar Pura Jai Jahan Janma Hare Bhakta Kahai Or Devata Chaitanya Dharai Hanumat Se Sarva Sukha Karai Sankata Kate Mite Sab Pira Jo Sumere Hanumat Balabir Jai Hanuman Gosai Kripa Karo Gurudeva Kinai Jo Satavar Pat Kara Koi Chutahi Bandi Mahasukha Hoi Joya Pare Hanuman Chalisa Oya Siddhi Sake Gaurisa Tulasi Dasa Sada Hari Chera Ki Jainata Hridaya Mahandera Avanatanaya Sankataharana Mangala Murti Rup Siyaram Rama Lakshmana Sita Sahita Hridaya Basa Surabhupa Siyavara Ramachandra Padaje Sharanam Mangalamurti Martananda Sakala Mangalamula Mangalamurti Martananda Sakala Mangalamula Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Jai Siya Ram Jai Jai Hanuman Sankatamochan Kripanidhan. Jai Siya Ram, Jai Jai Hanuman. Sankatamochan Kripanidhan. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. 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 Jai Siya Ram, Jai Baba Hanuman. Karuna Sagar Kripanidhan. Jai Siya Ram, Jai Jai Hanuman. Sankatamochan Kripanidhan. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. 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 Namaste. Take good care. phenomena.